Co.Donegal again in Ireland. We've been here before. Gotta fess up, I wasn't planning on recording a video this weekend because I was hoping to be running a photography workshop here in Donegal this weekend. Sadly, that didn't come to pass, i.e. nobody signed up, but hey, you gotta keep moving forward, I guess. But I wasn't going to stop myself from coming here because it is such a beautiful location. So I've actually stopped off at Co.Donegal Bay. Now, the weather conditions at the moment are less than ideal, but every so often the light is actually sort of coming through. So I thought I would kind of stop off here. It's a beautiful bay to just take in the wild Atlantic way where it sort of starts on the north side. So basically what I'm looking for here is I've got the XE2, which has recovered by the looks of things after it's soaking, and I've got the 10 to 24 mil on, and I'm just using a bit of seaweed as a bit of a lead-in line. The rocks in a bit of the mid-ground, and then onward. I'll probably go for a bit of a longish exposure. Whoa! Here comes the sea. Look at that. It's coming in very quick. Bit of a longish exposure, trying to smooth out those waves and see where we go. We're switching just to the iPhone very quickly to record this here because just no real time to sort of put things in. Really like the composition I've got. But the rain, which is why I'm below an umbrella. It's an essential part of any landscape photographer's arsenal. Well, there's a famous saying, might be an Irish saying, might be just a saying, you can't polish a turd. No light, pretty miserly rain. I think it's time to move on to the next location. I'm actually trying to convince my better half that this is actually pretty damn good photography conditions if there was just a little bit of light. I don't think she's that convinced, mind you, but because there's just drama and there's mist and we're just missing light. Sadly, that light just didn't materialise and the rain continued. So after another couple of stops at little coves along the way, we decided to head to our base for the weekend. And what would every self-respecting photographer do when the weather is seemingly out to nobble their plans? Well, a good cuppa and a homemade cherry scone. All is right with the world again. So we made it up to the hostel up in Malin Head. The weather has cleared somewhat. And so we're going to head out to Malin Head now, around that area, and see whether we can grab something as hopefully the light maybe improves. At least it's not raining, and I'm very red. It's warm in here. So this is the Sandrock Holiday Hostel on Malin Head, where I normally base my photography workshops from. And as you can see, literally right outside your door, there's even potential. Just a beautiful, beautiful area. Welcome to Malin Head. We've been here before, haven't we? Somewhere up there. The weather looks like it's actually got a lot better. So we're just going to take the wander out now to Malin Head, right to the edge. It takes about half an hour walk out. Got the head torches with us because obviously it'll be dark when we're coming back. Not hugely hopeful of a fantastic sunrise. By the way, pop quiz or survey. This bubble on her head is too big, isn't it? Anyway, so we're heading kind of out this way, which is right to the very edge of the little spit up in the northwest here. Fingers crossed we get some kind of light. You can see it just starting to kind of build up here. I'm not hugely hopeful, but still a lovely walk out, and we'll see what we can see. So welcome to the very tip of Ireland, Malin Head. As I said earlier, we have been here before. Yes, despite using a windbreaker on my mic, the wind was just too strong on Malin Head. So what I'm basically talking about here is it's about an hour and a half to go until sunset, and so rather than right at the very edge of Malin Head, I've come back a little bit, and I'm just very interested in the evening light that is bathing the outcrops of rock here. Just beautiful. So I'm shooting with a Format High-Tech 4-stop ND filter, just to help create a little bit of calmness in the sea. These seas can get very rough. Today, despite the wind overhead, the sea's actually relatively calm. So I'm shooting here with a 4-stop ND filter, as I say, in vertical format, and I just hung around in this spot for a while, just waiting for the sun to dip lower into the sky, and then at that point I would start to wander up across and start to point my camera down the barrel of the sun. But I'm sure you can agree it's a very beautiful place. Malin Head. Looking down into the setting sun. So I've moved slightly back along the coast a little bit. These three little outcrops of rock really caught my eye in the setting sun. Still shooting on the XT1 with the 18-135mm lens, and I still have my Format High-Tech 4-stop ND filter on. So I'm just shooting various length of exposures here, and on the back of the screen you can kind of see the composition that I'm going for, making sure there's just that slight bit of separation between the individual rocks and the main headland. Important lesson here as well is to always review your histogram, especially if you have the brightness of your LCD screen turned up. So here you can see that I still have potentially a little bit of leverage on the right hand side without clipping any highlights, so I can actually perhaps go for, this was a 50-second exposure, so I think my next step here was to potentially go for a 60-second exposure. So again, it's always useful, important in fact, to check that histogram. So given how the day started out with the rain, as you can see on my face, it's actually ending pretty nice. And I must admit, here on Malin Head, I've had some fantastic conditions. I would have liked it to have been maybe a little bit stormier in the sea, but let's just turn you around. So we've come down just a little bit more, still not shooting right up the edge. I'm still not too sure whether that's going to work. I think the sun's maybe just a little bit too, I'm just not feeling it. So I'm still kind of shooting these jagged rocks down here, and I'm kind of emphasizing, again, if we bring up the camera, kind of just emphasizing kind of the lines and the textures, and the lines and the textures in the sea as well. So just beautiful. I'd love to have my 400 with me, because right out there the little lighthouse is just getting illuminated as well. I just think if you had have signed up for my workshop, you could have been here right now. It is rather beautiful. So I'm doing something I normally don't do, and I'm shooting into the sun. Now, it's actually got a lot more subdued now. It is covered by a bank of clouds. Let me just show you where I am. I've come right the way up to the very, very top. Now, I'm shooting here at f/16. The sun is actually, I've got a 2-stop soft edge grad and a 4-stop ND filter on. And I'm also shooting bracketed shots. You know by now, if you follow my work, that as well as using grads, I quite often will shoot brackets just to give myself that extra dimension when it comes to processing. And what I'm hoping for is that sun is kind of doing it, giving us a little bit of a sunburst in the underexposed image of 3. There's not a huge amount of light on the foreground rocks. However, I was shooting earlier this evening from here when the sun was, let me just come back up again, when the sun was actually a lot better, and I may be able to paint some of that colour back in again. Good old time shifting, but we'll see. So the sun keeps dipping in and out from behind the clouds. It's blooming windy and cold up here. So yeah, considering the evening that we had, it's not a bad finish to the day. But another 20 minutes to sunset, and that sun will disappear pretty quickly now. Oh, we have some rays coming out the top of the cloud. Let's get some of that action. We've been here before in a previous video. What?
I did up.